Good day everyone, my name is Valen Michidanyo and I am the first reporter. I will report about competitive market. What is competitive market? Meaning, a competitive market, sometimes called a perfectly competitive market, has two characteristics. The first characteristics is there are many buyers and many sellers in the market. Number two, the goods offered by the various sellers are largely the same. Ang isang competitive market ay isa kung saan maraming mga producer na nagkikipagkompetensya sa isa't isa sa pag-asang makapagbigay ng mga kalakal at serbisyo na gusto at kailangan natin bilang mga mamimili. Sa madaling salita, hindi isang solong producer ang maaaring magdikta sa market. Tulad ng mga producer, walang sinumang mamimili ang maaaring magdikta sa market. Totoo rin ang konseptong ito kung saan ang presyo at dami ng mga bilihin ay nababahala. Ang isang producer at isang consumer ay hindi makapagpasya ng presyo ng mga kalakal o makapagpasya sa dami na nagagawa. Ang isang halimbawa ng competitive market ay ang pagsasaka. Mayroong libo-libong mga magsasaka at wala ni isa sa kanila ang makaka-impluwensya sa merkado o sa presyo batay sa kung gaano kalaki ang kanilang paglaki. Ang magagawa lang ng magsasaka ay ang magpalago ng pananim at tanggapin kung anuman ang kasalukuyang presyo sa produktong.
At para sa next topic ay ang revenue of the competitive firm. At siguro naman lahat ng negosyo na nasa competitive market ay sinusubukang kumita ng pera. At para malaman ang total profit ng isang kumpanya or business, pwede natin gamitin ang formula na revenue minus total cost. Then, makukuha na natin yung total profit ng isang business. At para naman sa revenue ng isang competitive firm, pwede natin gamitin ang formula na total revenue equals price times quantity. At nagkakaroon naman ng tinatawag nating marginal revenue kapag yung quantity na nabenta ay tumaas. Kahit mapaisa man o dalawa, basta tumaas yung quantity na nabenta, na siya, yun na yung marginal revenue. Yun lamang para sa aking part. At ang susunod na part ay i-report ng susunod na reporter.
Profit maximization and competitive firm supply curve. Pagka sinabing profit maximization, ito yung isa sa mga strategy na ginagawa ng mga business para mag-increase yung profit nila gamit yung most efficient method and para sa pag-equalize ng marginal cost at saka revenues. Itong profit maximization kasi, prime target to ng lahat ng mga business or ng mga company. Saka kailangan kasi nila to para mag-progress sila, yung business nila. So, mamaximize ng company yung profit nila pagka tinaasan nila yung price or nagbawas sila ng mga production cost sa mga goods nila. Ina-adjust ng company yung mga influential factors tulad na lang ng selling price, production cost, saka yung mga output levels para ma-realize nila yung magiging profit goal nila. Yung formula ng maximization profit, depende siya sa profit, then equals sa total revenue, then minus sa cost. So like parang profit ng business, pagka yung marginal revenue equals sa marginal cost, which is yung first order, saka second order, nakadepende siya lagi sa first order. Example nito is, pagka yung marginal revenue, mas malaki siya kaysa sa marginal cost, dapat mag-i-increase yung company ng production. Kung mas mababa naman yung marginal revenue kaysa sa marginal cost, kailangan magbawas ng company ng production. Kung titingnan naman ng company yung marginal at saka kung magdadagdag sila ng mga adjustment para sa production, then ayun yung mag-lead sa kanila na mag-produce ng profit maximizing quantity. Pagka sinabi namang competitive firm supply curve, yung supply curve para sa isang firm, sinasabi nito na kung gaano kalaki yung output ng isang company na willing ilagay doon sa market at a different price. So, pagka nag-produce ka ng goods na merong mga close substitute, parang merong mga magkakaroon ka ng great deal doon sa market power. Yung demand curve kasi hindi siya elastic. Kahit na mataas yung price mo, willing pa rin na bumili yung mga tao ng goods. Like on the other hand, kung producer ka, then may kaparehas ka ng product doon sa market, yung demand curve mo pwede siyang maging elastic. Like kung tinaasan mo ng kahit konti yung presyo mo, yung demand sa'yo is mababawasan talaga. Dito sa marginal cost curve and the firm supply decision, para sa isang competitive company, itong marginal cost curve is similar siya sa firm supply curves, simula sa minimum point ng average variable cost. So, para mag-gets natin, first is think about what the supply curves means. Kasi yung mga company, chine-check nila yung market price, then tinitingnan nila yung supply curves nun para makapag-decide sila kung gaano karami yung ipoproduce nila. So, ngayon, think about kung ano yung ibig sabihin naman ng firm will maximize its profit by producing at a quantity where price is equal to marginal cost. So ibig sabihin nito is chine-check ng company yung market price, then tinitingnan din nila yung marginal cost para ma-determine yung quantity na ipoproduce, saka para masigurado na yung presyo is mas mataas kaysa sa minimum average variable cost. In other words, itong marginal cost curve, mas mataas siya sa minimum point on the average cost curves becomes the firm supply curves. Yung supply decision naman sa isang company, crucial siya ng microeconomics. So, yung marginal revenue, ayun yung price ng mga goods. Since yung price is constant siya para sa mga individual suppliers, so sa bawat additional unit na nabebenta nila sa price na yon, mayroon naman silang mga same additional revenues, like price is equal to marginal revenue. Yung concept kasi ng marginal revenue, siya para ma-analyze yung magiging supply decision ng mga individual firms. Kasi yung marginal cost curves is critical siya pagka dinefine sa optimal amount to supply at any price.
The firm short-run decision to shut down, in some circumstance, that firm will decide to shut down and not produce anything at all. Here we should distinguish between a temporary shutdown of firm and the permanent exit from the market. A shutdown referred to a short-run decision, exit referred to a long-run decision. This decision differ because most firm cannot avoid their fixed cost in the short run but can do so in the long run. When we see short run decision to shut down, ito po yung kailangan gawin ng isang business kapag hindi na po masyadong productive, hindi na po masyadong kumikita yung business natin, no? Kaysa ipilit natin yung mga bagay-bagay na hindi naman talaga pwede, no? Halimbawa na lamang is yung kita natin is hindi enough kaysa dun sa nilalabas ng mismong business natin na pera, no? Hindi na bumabalik yung mga total costing, no, o yung total revenue ng business na meron po tayo. So on that part, kapag tayo po ay magsara at least 3 consecutive months, may iwasan po natin yung malaking pagkalugi. So bakit? Kasi pagka hindi na productive yung business natin, no, hindi na kumikita, then kapag sinara na natin, no, hindi na po tayo magbabayad nung mismong production natin. At the same time, hindi na rin po tayo magbabayad ng water and electric bills natin. Ang babayaran na lang po natin is yung upa and then yung maintenance of machinery na meron tayo. Halimbawa na lamang po yung products po natin, no, dun sa business natin is halo-halo and shake, no, na alam naman natin yung halo-halo and shakes is popular, no, or trend doon sa summer season. Pero sa isang buong taon kasi dumadating din talaga yung tag-ulan, na alam naman natin pag tag-ulan na hindi na po masyadong patok yung halo-halo and shake sa mga season na yon, no? Or pinaka masamang part pa nito is yung abutin ng bagyo, na alam naman natin here in the Philippines kapag ka binagyo, yung bilihin dun sa market na bilihin ng market natin talagang tumataas yung demand, no? But it's normal, no? It because of inflation. So yun nga yung masamang part doon, no? Na malaki yung nilalabas ng company pero maliit lang po yung kinikita natin. So kailangan talaga nating isara, no, on that case, no? And then after siguro ng 3 to 5 months, no? And then kung sa tingin natin all factors are favorable, so why not we can start again to open kung ano man po yung business na meron po tayo. And number 2, spilled milk and other sunk costs. Economists say that the cost of sunk cost when it has already been committed and cannot be recovered. Sunk costs cannot be avoided regardless of the choices you make. If you cannot erase the cost, if something has already been invested like an infrastructure, or if you want to go to the cinema, buy a ticket and lose it because nothing can be done about the sunk costs. You can ignore them when making decision. So when we see spilled milk and the other sunk costs, ito po yung mga nagastos na ng business natin o ng kumpanya na hindi na natin kaya pang ibalik, no? Halimbawa na lamang na bumili tayo ng isang ticket doon sa sinihan, tapos nawala lang din natin yung ticket at hindi rin tayo nakapanood. So yun yung nasayang lang ng mga pera na hindi na kailangan na hindi na ibalik pa, no, doon sa kumpanya o doon sa business natin, no. So halimbawa kagaya ng sinabi ko kanina, no, na yung business kapag not productive na siya, so kailangan na natin i-close. So in this case, kailangan nating dumiretso na nagawa ng paraan yung business na meron tayo. Then kung sa tingin natin is nagiging maganda, so continuous lang, pero hindi na natin maibabalik yung mga nagastos natin doon, no, during that time na mahina pa talaga tayo, na pinapalakas pa lang natin yung business natin. So I think it's a part of the business, no, na kailangan talaga minsan dumaan tayo sa mga ganong sitwasyon. And halimbawa, no, nagtayo po tayo ng isang mini store, then hindi natin din na gamit, no, so sayang yung mga pera na ginamit natin doon, yung oras natin doon, no, yung panahon sa pagpapagawa nun. So maraming nasasayang din talaga, no. Kaya napaka-importante sa isang business o sa isang negosyo na pag-iisipan muna natin ng maigi, no, yung mga plano natin bago po dumating doon sa execution, no, kung ano po yung dapat natin gawin para maiwasan po natin yung pagkalugi.
First, the supply curve in a competitive market. Over short periods of time, it is often difficult for firms to enter and exit. So the assumption of a fixed number of firm is appropriate. The supply curve is a graphic representation of the correlation between the cost of a good service and the quantity. Sa karamihan ng mga kurba ng supply, habang tumataas ang presyo ng isang kalakal, tumataas din ang dami ng produktong ibinibigay. Ang mga kurba ng supply ay madalas na nagpapakita kung ang isang kalakal ay makakaranas ng pagtaas o pagbaba ng presyo batay sa demand at kabaligtaran. Ang supply curve kasama ang demand curve ay ang mga pangunahing bahagi ng batas ng supply at demand.
So let's proceed to the short run with a fixed number of frames. So in the short run with a fixed number of frames, market supply is determined by the individual firm's supply curves. So each firm has its own supply curves showing the quality of the good it is willing to produce and sell at a different price level. So the market supply is a horizontal summation of these individual firms' supply curves. So in this situation, the number of firms remains constant, so changes in the market supplies are mainly influenced by the changes in the individual firms' cost of productions of their expectation about the future prices. So let's proceed to the long run. In the competitive market, firms have the ability to enter or exit the market. So this flexibility affects the market supply curves. When there are profits to be made, new firms may be entered the market, increasing the overall supply. So if the firms are experiencing losses, some may exit the market, reducing the supply. This process continues until economic profits are driven to zero, meaning that the firms are earning a normal rate of return on their investment. So at this point, the market reaches a long-run equilibrium and there is no further incentives for firms to enter or exit. So the long-run market supply curves is typically more elastic than the short-run supply curves because firms have more time to adjust their production levels and new firms can be entered or existing firms can be exit the market. So this elasticity helps to maintain price stability in the long run in a competitive markets. This long-run adjustment process is the fundamental concept in microeconomics and it reflects the idea that the market tends to self-regulate over time. So it's important to note that in practice, market entry and exit can be influenced by the various factors including government regulation, technological changes, and market demand shift.
Competitive firms can stay in business even when they are not making any money or zero profit for several reasons. One is covering costs. They might be earning just enough to cover their expenses, including rent and salaries without making a profit. Second, future profit expectations. They may believe that they'll make money in the future and keep going with that hope. Number 3, non-financial costs. Non-financial goals. Some firms have goals other than just making money, like gaining market shares, building a brand, or achieving social environment objectives. For competitive reasons. In highly competitive market, they might stay to prevent competitors from taking over. 5. Learning and diversification. Staying helps them learn and gain experience, or they might have other parts of business that are profitable. And lastly, government support or industry norms. Government regulations or subsidies can encourage them to stay, and sometimes it's just what everyone in their industry does. In the short run, when there is increase in demand for a product, price tends to rise and companies may struggle to produce more, leading to higher prices and limited quantity. Conversely, if demand decreases, price may drop and companies might not be able to reduce production quickly. In the long run, with demand increases, companies can expand their production capacity, which eventually leads to more supplies, stable prices, and higher quantity. When demand decreases, companies can reduce capacity, leading to lower supplies, stable prices, and reduced quantity. The long run allows companies to adjust more effectively to change in their demand. Why the long run supply curve might slope upward? It's important to note that an upward sloping, long-run supply curve is not the norm across all industry or goods. In many cases, the long-run supply curve remains flat or may even slope up downward, indicating that production becomes more efficient and cost-effective as it expands. The specific shape of the long-run supply curve depends on the unique characteristic of industry, technology, resources, and market conditions. The long-run curve might be sloped upward because as production increases, costs can go up due to the factors like limited resources, technological constraint, or diminishing returns. This means that in the long run, it becomes more expensive to produce more, which results in a supply curve that slopes upward.